Hey, what's up everyone? Welcome to another episode of Garage Topics. My name is Michael. We're going to work on the S2000 today by actually painting it. We got rid of the rust in one of the previous episodes, but today we're just going to paint it because I've got the right equipment. We're going to go over what equipment you should use. There's tons of videos online about how to paint this, but this one's going to be very specific to the S2000, so let's fingers crossed that it works out. Alright, I've been driving it around because I got a price quote and it was just so dang nice out, but I've bitten the bullet. We're going to strip it down. Hopefully it'll only be off the road for a couple days. If you're lucky, you can probably do this in one day. It'll be one day, let it dry overnight, and be good to go the next day. So first order is to take the rear bumper off, which I've done a bajillion times before, so should be pretty quick. Alright, so we're back at the old desk again. I'm going to go over the parts we're going to do. These are the correct parts. I did a ton of research, so let's go over them. First things first, I bought replacement filters for my 3M mask. These are going to make sure that I don't die. I'm still going to leave when I spray some of the spray because the spray is pretty toxic, but this will help me from not breathing in as much bad stuff. I still have the ones in from when I did the Tacoma, so there's a little bit of rust in there, so those got to go. So those help us be fresh. Next thing is a pack of Scotch-Brite pads. These are the gray ones. This is going to be to scuff up the clear because we are going to be putting clear on this whole panel now. That's the correct way to do it. So we want to make it look super fresh. So that's what we got to do. Next thing up is I got a big old assortment pack of sandpaper off of Amazon. So this is pretty good. I normally use the 3M stuff, so this will be a testament to see if this is any good or not. But it ranges anywhere from like 200 grit to like 3,000 grit, I think. So should be good. I tried doing it before without a sanding block, so I got a sanding block. This is going to make sure we're not pushing too hard in some other places. It's going to make sure that we have a nice even pressure, so we need this. Got a mask here for when we're just doing some regular sanding, and then obviously I'll use a 3M mask for the thicker stuff. We'll also use some wax and grease remover. This is going to be to clean up before we put some paint on. Also, we'll use a tack cloth that's going to get some of the sticky stuff off and get a little imperfections out before we put the final clear on. You need a lot of masking tape, obviously, because we're going to mask up the stuff. I've got some leftover plastic from another project, but you want to wrap the car completely because this clear coat is going to go on everything. It'll go all over your car, so make sure you cover your car up where you don't want paint to go. Man, I'm sick. This sucks. I got some filler primer. I don't think we'll need this because we did a pretty good job of sanding it before, but if I see any small imperfections that are going to make us take a lot of time to sand down, we'll use this. But I'm planning on just going straight to primer sealer. This is going to put a nice coat on, and I'll show you a technique how to do that. This is the correct paint this time. I got some high quality base coat, made sure that matched NH565. I matched up with a VIN, so it should be the exact match. We'll spray some cardboard or something beforehand and put it up to the light of the car to see if it's an exact match, but should be good to go. We won't really need that much of this, so that's where I messed up before. But the big piece that's really going to make the deal good is this 2K clear coat. This red popper goes on the bottom. You jam it in and combine the hardener with the clear. So it'll only be good for like 12-24 hours after you do that. But this nozzle's made for doing this, so we shouldn't have any issues like we did before. Alright, now that I've lost my voice completely, let's go start sanding this thing. So for the point of this conversation, quick conversation will be, typically your rust will be in a small section. You wouldn't have to replace any metal. But if it is severe enough, you can go check out the other video where we did replace the metal. But what you want to do is you want to sand it down to about 400 grit, get it all smooth and soft. What I'm going to have to do is, because I painted up here, I'm going to have to do that all the way up here. So we're going to start off with that, and then we'll move into some of the other sanding processes. I sanded for about 30 minutes because I wanted to get those 4 layers of paint off that I did originally, which was my fault. So we got a little bit carried away, but we got it actually down to a really good spot. It's pretty flush. The green is from the previous work that was done before I've ever owned the car, and the pink was me, and that's pretty much my fault. I thought I was getting rid of some of the excess layers of paint, but it turns out that was the primer that someone put on the car when they painted this whole panel in the past. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to get the the tar and grease remover, cover up these spots. I've hit it with 220, then 400 grit. Really helped knock that down, but I'm going to put a little bit of primer sealer on here. I'm not going to need to use this filler primer. It's pretty smooth, so we'll hit up this section here with some primer sealer to just seal it on up. Then we'll let that dry. We'll wet sand again, then we'll scuff the whole section up and then we'll be ready to start painting. Pro tip that I learned while watching the internet, and everything you see on the internet is true, obviously. So instead of masking off this entire area, we're just gonna put this cardboard here to help us mask. And it also helps with, if you just spray it or just go everywhere, this is gonna really control how much goes on. So this should make our lives a little bit easier. I ended up using the primer from the other kit because I did hit metal in a couple places, and that's what this is made for, to cover up metal. So I lightly hit this in a couple spots. Oops. Alright, so done a couple coats. I waited decent like 10-15 minutes between each coat. It's getting a little bit warm in here. I actually had to add some filler primer because there were some sections that I sanded down too deep. But for right now, I'm going to go to 600 grit to get this all smooth. I may need to go back down to 400 to speed up the process, but I want to finish up this primer stuff here with 600 grit so I know that it's all smooth. It's really this tedious work before you put the clear and the color down that makes all the difference in making this job look cruddy between cruddy and really, really good. The goal is to make this look like you don't even notice it, so spend your time here, make it well worth the effort. I sanded it one more time and then went over it with some more primer and then sanded it again. So 2 times prime, 2 sand with 600 grit. It's super smooth now. I cannot feel a single imperfection. I really can't see any imperfections at all. It looks pretty good. I'm pretty happy with it. So the correct way of doing this, which I didn't do the last time, I thought I could just tape over this, like tape a big ring and not paint up here and just let it blend in. That's not how it works. The correct way to do this is to paint this with the white, cover this all up so it matches. Not paint the whole thing, but kind of just fan it out. So no taping around here, just let the white fan out and then clear this entire panel. Which means we're gonna have to scuff up this entire panel, and that's what we got those Brillo pads for, but I'm kinda nervous because up here looks great. Up here looks great, down there looks great. I really don't wanna mess it up, but this is the way you gotta do it, so we'll see how it goes. So I've got this to 600 now. I'm gonna scuff pad this whole panel because that's what you gotta do. Here we go. Sorry S2000. There are a couple small places I need to hit again, but I wanted to show you what it looks like between scuffed and not scuffed. So obviously this is Club Duty fresh and super clean. This is kind of matte. It's hard to tell with the white because the white does a good job of hiding stuff, but it really looks like a matte paint job from in here. I've fixed up a couple more spots, and then I'm going to cover this entire car except this panel so we can get to start painting. It's all taped off now. The entire car is covered. I got a little bit of tape bits here to finish, and then we'll be good to go. Pro tip, when you're taping the edges, tape the side that you're not painting so that you can allow the clear to creep down in just so it doesn't create a hard line. Found that one out the hard way when I painted last time, so tape it to the other side. I've cleaned it off with wax and grease remover, and then now I'm gonna use the tack cloth to get it all clean and good, and then we're gonna start painting. So we're gonna do some white here. We're gonna just kind of flake it on, not just spray it like this because we want to kind of fade it out. So heavier here and then fade it out. But the first coat we'll do one light coat. So fingers crossed. I do not want to do this again.
Shit. This is so freaking tough.
This is what I'm talking about. This is what happens, and I was pretty pissed, but now I understand why. The primer sealer helps avoid this, and as you can see, I might have sanded just a slight bit around the edges that didn't have primer sealer, and that's exactly what happened right where the original primer was, is where the white paint ate through and burned through, and it just looked like crap. I did it a little bit down here, but not that bad, so I can fix it. It'll just delay it by like an hour because I'll sand it right now. I'll let it dry for a while and then repaint it. After 3 coats of white, it was finally time for clear. This clear is a 2-part clear, so this little red button on the top cap, you press into the bottom and it activates the 2 mixtures so that it will set and harden in place. This is good because it's actually going to stand up to UV rays a lot better. It's kind of satisfying pushing this in to get it to press in. Once you do it, you'll feel it and then just shake it up for a while. This stuff will kill you, so wear a mask and try and get out of there as soon as possible after you spray it, just to be on the safe side. And then shake the crap out of it, of course. I also got this spray nozzle that made it a lot easier to put the clear coat down. It's like $6 in the hardware store. I highly recommend this. I would not have wanted to do this job without it. I tested some inconspicuous areas, then do some of the corners first, and my fat ass blocks this whole view, but it's a really steady stream, like 10-11 inches away from the panel, and it's a continuous motion. You want to put it on wet. If you do it too light, it'll look like doo-doo. So you just gotta practice. I practice on a piece of cardboard before putting it on the car to really get a good technique down. In my scenario, because we're not in a booth, you want 3 coats of this clear, and that'll allow you to sandpaper it down and buff it out to get any imperfections out.
We did it! Yes! It's not 100%, but it looks pretty fresh. I'm so happy. Hopefully you guys can hear me. If not, I'll put subtitles on. There's a couple of bugs, 1 hair in it. It'll be okay. I knew it was going to be like this. But for a Rattle can, less than $100 paint job, it looks perfection. Yes!
So it's been a couple weeks since I painted the car. It looks good. Let me show you what it looks like. Here she is. Mind you, we're underneath the fluorescent lights, so this will show off lights differently. But it looks really good in my opinion. You can kind of tell it's there. If you really focus hard on where I painted at, you can tell. But mind you, from the same angle here, the door is a different color than the panel, so this car is kind of hopeless. But the main piece that we need to make note of is that there's no rust here anymore at all. It's all good to go. So I feel a lot better knowing there's not rusting out from underneath, and we got the arc line to look good here. So this thing will need a paint job eventually if we want to make it really nice, but right now we're at a good spot. It's not going to eat away at itself. There's virtually no rust on this car at all anymore, so overall I'm really happy. I'll do some more shots, we'll do some more videos outside. Long story short, I'm in the middle of a project for another video, but ordering parts has become a pain in the ass, so it's been up on jack stands for a little bit. I'll put some links in the description about other videos of how to do painting at home. It was fun, but it was a lot of work. The video made it look pretty easy. It took a lot of time, definitely multiple hours doing it. So not for the faint of heart, but if you want a fun project to feel good about, I'd definitely recommend it if you just put the time and effort into researching how to do it yourself. And you can practice, you gotta practice on random things, so do that as well. But thanks a lot for watching. Make sure that your dog doesn't eat rust because it will need a tetanus shot, obviously, because it'll probably die from that. So get a tetanus shot. Thanks a lot for watching. Subscribe, like if you want, tell your friends, and have fun with your car. Peace out.